What's going on, guys? TCG Guide here, and today I'm going to be doing a deck profile of my Rocket deck. So this is one that I actually wanted to show off a while ago, but I couldn't find a good build that I actually liked. I was running Supreme Kings for a while, but it was really good at getting board load out and not a whole lot else. So let's go ahead and get on with the deck profile. So for starters, I have 3 Annis Rocket. Annis Rocket is your Fiendish Chain for Rockets. You can use Annis Rocket to make it so a monster can't attack and its effects are negated. Then if it's in the graveyard because it was destroyed, you can special summon a different rocket from the deck. But all the rockets do that. That's not anything unique to Annis Rocket. We've also got 3 Shell Rocket. Shell Rocket destroys a monster in the same column as it, plus monsters that are adjacent to that destroyed monster. So this can be a really, really good card depending on your placement. Auto Rocket, I'm running at 3, and he's here for spell and trap destruction. Really, really good card built in ST, and it also replaces itself just like all the other rockets. Got 3 Metal Rocket. Metal Rocket destroys everything in the same column as it. Like you can probably see by now that this does work with columns a little bit, but not a whole lot. Definitely something that's kind of important to pay attention to, but not like with Mech Knights or something. And then lastly, for the rockets, I'm using 3 Magna Rocket Dragons. Magna Rocket is by far the best of the rockets, just because it doesn't target, doesn't destroy. It just sends a monster straight to the grave. Now it does only hit 1, but it hits 1 no matter what. And yeah, perfect card for rockets. I'm also running 2 Gateway Dragon. Gateway Dragon special summons itself from the hand as long as your opponent has a link monster, and it can also help get you an extra special summon once per turn. So this can easily go for a link 3 right away, just as long as your opponent has a link monster out. Running 2 Hibernation Dragon. This is probably one of the best cards in the deck. If it's normal or special summoned, you can add a level 4 or lower Dark Dragon from your graveyard to your hand. And if it's in the graveyard, you can banish it if you have no link monsters to target a Dark Dragon link monster and special summon it. So usually Borreload, but really any of the Borrels will work. Also got 1 Keeper of the Shrine. I did try running this at 2, but that was just way too much. Even at 1, it comes back a lot. So you really don't have to worry about this one. And then lastly for the monsters, I'm running 1 Destrudo. This works for synchro plays, although honestly most of the time it just ends up getting used as fodder for Allure of Darkness. But still a really good card for level 7 synchros. And for the spells and traps, I'm running 3 of the field spell, 2 terraforming. The field spell is absolutely amazing for rockets, and it really sucks that it didn't come out as soon as the rockets did. But basically what it does is you can either special summon 2 rockets from your hand in defense position, or if your opponent controls more monsters than you, you can special summon rockets up to the difference from your graveyard. Really, really good card for the comeback, and it also gives rockets a 300 attack and a defense boost, which is pretty good, but pretty standard too. Terraforming to search out Boot Sector, and it's only at 2 because, yeah, just got hit on the ban list. Now this deck does have a lot of draw power. I'm using 3 Supply Squad, which works once per turn if a card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect. Now this works once per turn. It's a soft once per turn, so as many of these as you have out, the better. It also works with Borreload's effect when you steal your opponent's monsters, so there are chances to plus there too. Got 2 Squib Draw, target and destroy a rocket, and if you do, draw 2 cards. You can only activate once, 1 per turn, but it sets you up to get whatever rocket you want, plus you get 2 draws. Allure of Darkness, draw 2, banish a dark monster. All the monsters in this deck are dark, so you really don't have a problem with that. I'm also running Quick Launch, 3 copies of it, because it's a really good extender. Special summon a rocket monster from the deck. It can attack, and it's destroyed during the end phase. So just don't get the rocket that you really want to end with. Make sure that you get something that you don't mind being destroyed. I'm also running 2 Scapegoat, because Scapegoat is a 1-card Borreload, and it's just amazing in this deck. 1 Foolish Burial sends Hibernation Dragon, Keeper of the Shrine, Destrudo, whatever you need. And lastly, 1 Monster Reborn, because, Monster Reborn. So, for the extra deck, I'm only running 1 Xyz monster. That's Dark Rebellion. Dark Rebellion takes 2 level 4s, detach 2, and target a face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack, and Dark Rebellion gains that lost attack. Pretty simple card, been around for a while, most people know what it does, and it's a staple in pretty much every deck that can use it. Like I mentioned earlier, level 7 Synchros, really good, especially Black Rose in this deck. Since it's all about guns and rockets, it seemed like a really good idea to have a nuclear option in the deck. Running 1 Link Karibo and 1 Link Spider. Those are mostly for Scapegoat Borreload plays, but Link Karibo can also be made with Anis Rocket, so that's a really good thing to remember there too. Got 2 Mrs. Radiant. Again, those are also part of the Scapegoat combo to get Borreload out. Nightmare Phoenix and Nightmare Cerberus are in here. They're really good generic Link 2s. One destroys a monster, the other destroys a spell or trap. Just really, really solid cards. Also, they can help with extra links if you want to try and go for that, but I wouldn't recommend it. Mini Boral, basically it just swaps itself out for a different Link monster, but it can actually be pretty useful in Link laddering. Triple Burst, the main reason I run him is for the spell or trap negate. Really good effect, but yeah, not something that I make a ton, but when I do, I'm usually pretty happy about it. Flash Charge Dragon, this has been so clutch for me. You can't summon monsters to zones that it points to, which is fine because it points up on all 3. But once per turn, if a monster gets normal or special summoned to a zone that it points to, you can inflict 500 damage to your opponent and destroy a card that it points to. Really, really good card. It also can protect itself if it gets targeted. You just tribute a monster. It doesn't matter if a Link monster is pointing to it or whatever. You just tribute it, and Flash Charge is good. I'm also running 1 Summoner... Excuse me. I'm also running 1 Summon Sorceress because all the Rockets are dragons, and this is just way too good of an extender to not run. If you have Summon Sorceress and you can play her, you absolutely should be. running Topologic Gumblar because I really don't care too much about sending monsters to the grave. Mine will just replace themselves later, plus I can pull them right back out with Boot Sector Launch. So this is really more of a troll card than anything. Then I've also got one Beauregard and one Boral Load Dragon that I'm running. I did run this at 2 Boral Loads for a while, but I do really like Beauregard. I didn't think I would, but yeah, he's come in handy more than a couple of times. It can't be destroyed by card effects. Once per turn, you can send a card from your spell and trap zone to the graveyard to special summon from either graveyard to your field a monster that was destroyed and sent there this turn, but its effects are negated. And once per turn, you can target a monster on the field, change it to defense position. And your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to that effect. Really good effect, especially if you need to get off your Rokket monsters. Plus, you can start stealing your opponent's monsters from the graveyard, especially if you've already made a Boral Load and Beauregard is just there sitting in the back row. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the deck profile. Let me know down in the comments what you guys thought. I hope you guys have been checking out my archetype analysis now that I've got them going up and going again. Be sure to give the video a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more. This has been TCG Guide, and as I always say, guys, have a great day.